thing.
One of those for all the second grade
Same day.
teachers still works
Yes.
for them.
Yes.
Well, that's my concern, because
Yes.
you're all teaching the same thing at the same time every day,
Is there gonna be a
and then you're
shortage?
going to be asked to share things. So
Yeah, no, it'll be workable. Because you wouldn't be using this book during your actual lesson. The materials and everything that goes along with it would be planned ahead of time
Okay.
to present to the students in the lesson.
The only other thing that I thought of is it's like sometimes the leveled readers, it's helpful to have more sets of the leveled readers.
I agree with that. Because we couldn't get enough of the Reading Street leveled readers.
Right. And so if you
They're
have
wonderful.
7 students that need to have the level readers and you only have 5, that's where it's more of a problem. So I could see adding to that the leveled readers, because that's probably going to be a foundation of what you're doing. You're talking
That's
about
what those-
neighborhoods, and then
The leveled readers are probably, with the vocab and the oral reading cards, those are going to probably receive the most use, case 6, during that reading block of time. So having those available is definitely a plus. What we were asking for were, complete set is 1 each of 15 titles, and we were asking for 4 sets.
So it only gives you 4.
That was for
Why not
that
6?
for grade
Right.
1.
Why not 6?
Yeah, I'd
so far
increase
as we-
that.
Are you doing that, Mrs. Stimpson?
I am.
I mean, does that seem
I
like
don't
it would
have a
be...
pencil.
Because you have 18 kids average
Right,
class,
right.
then you've got 3 sets of...
Well, Lori, what do you recommend?
We had ordered 4 so that the special education department would have a set as well. But each grade level, each classroom within the grade level would have a set of those books.
I think you should have at least 2 sets in each classroom, if not.
That's too few.
That's not enough.
Chief,
I
we
don't
want you to
think.
spend more money. than-
No.
You got a fever, Priscilla? Okay. I'm more than willing to spend more on those particularly because I do know they are going to
Ideally, what
Be
would you
used.
recommend? You're in the classroom, so I,
2 sets per classroom.
Okay.
Okay, so then I think then that's the very minimum of what we should be looking at.
And we can see how this works as time goes on.
Oh, yeah.
And if
Yeah.
2 months into the year, next year, you've come in within your budget. So if there's something that you're lacking, you can...
Well, the hardest part, though, is to see that we're spending money on something and then it sits in a classroom collecting dust.
Right.
But that's your accountability piece. We need to make sure that if we're spending money on these things, that we're using them. You know, and that goes along with training and making sure, okay, how am I going to be using these in my classroom? You know, this is all new to us, just like the FOSS was, and a lot of that was, you know, we had some come in, but a lot of what we do here is self-teaching.
Right.
We train ourselves on a lot of things. I mean, we've had a lot of professional development in the past 5 years, which has been a really big plus.
But you're still
But again,
customize it.
when there's new programs that we're going to have, and we get them in August, and we're going to present them in September when the kids come, you know, having the
Right.
time to get to know the materials and how we're going to use them is
I think what Judy was saying was, if you come in at, say, 30,000, and you find out through the year, I'm going to need more of these next year.
Then you're under
Order
budget.
them now while you still have the money in the social studies line.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
So you're being told to spend money.
The level readers are going to be used.
They're also
same with
thin.
the vocabulary cards as well. Those are really
I think they need
good
to get a feel for it and see what they...
Right, but
Yeah.
weren't you getting at the point that if they do need more materials to
That we
order it?
would have the money to
Right,
do
we
it
would have
this year.
This next year, rather than waiting to put it in the following budget, because there is money in there for the social studies curriculum.
So if you don't order it right off and you see that you're going to need something, then you have the availability to add to your program.
On some of the grades, for example, grade 4, these leveled readers, their complete set consists 1 each of 21 titles, so there are more books to present. Is that something that you would want us to also do, 2 sets per classroom?
I think so. Absolutely.
Okay. Because it varies a little bit. For example, grade 5, you'll find that the leveled readers are 1 each of 24 titles.
Didn't we
And-
find out? Oops, sorry.
But the set, the unit price is $63.45, for example, for grade 5 set of the books.
I like the idea of having at least 2 sets in the classroom. You know, I really do. I'd hate to not have enough. I mean,
I've been in another school where what they did was actually bought 6 sets, and then they divide them up into plastic bags, you know, and put 6 readers and the same thing. So then the teachers could then swap them among themselves. So one teacher might not be doing all of one thing at one time.
Well, a lot of
others
the,
might
yeah, a lot of the
swap
way
them.
we use the leveled readers now are in our intervention groups.
Yeah, so,
Didn't
So
we
one
find
teacher
last
may
year-
be doing an advanced group, and they
Right.
might be using that set of leveled readers, and then another might be the benchmark group, where
Right.
we'd be using those leveled readers. So we're constantly sharing now, and so having that in the classroom already would be a nice thing.
Didn't we find last year that, with the science thing, the teachers were sharing the
Yes, we
teacher's
were.
edition,
Yes.
and that was a problem, so we had to
Yes.
order them after the
And-
fact.
Teachers edition.
So we don't want to
Mrs.
get into
Stimson
that
was able to
situation.
present us with additional teacher editions
Right.
for next year. Other
Yeah.
things we ran into along those lines too is some of the materials that weren't ordered with the science, and we had to go
Right.
above and beyond and go out and get those.
So we're wanting you to think ahead
buy
and get that now.
those, yeah.
but each teacher will have their own teacher's edition in this
Yes.
program.
Yes.
Okay.
Special ed staff also.
Okay.
Any other questions of these wonderful teachers?
Appreciate all your hard work. It looks like a great program.
I know you've put a lot of time and effort in this, and we thank you very much.
All
Thank
right.
you for the presentation.
Thank you.
We'll be in touch.
Yeah, you get 2 books.
I get you.
I need a suitcase.
Now, Laura, you might have.
And he's not even helping.
No, I'm a independent woman here. I'm good. Thank you, Chris. I'm all set.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, gosh. That's funny. Okay, where are we? Okay, Bob, do you want to do your report? Are you planning to leave, Linda, or? Do you want to do your report? Are you planning to leave as soon as you get your report done?
Do you have questions for my report? It should be.
Oh, let's do that. Does anybody have any questions on Linda's report? Busy as usual is all I can say. Any questions? Okay, seeing none, we'll go on to Bob Adams. Thank you, Linda. You're up, Bob.
Okay. Yesterday, we opened the bids. We had 4 that came in. There were actually 5 companies that went to the bid walk. So the first page lists those, and page 2 gives you a reference chart diagram so you can see where the A sections are. So section A is over the boys and girls bathroom near the gym, and then it jumps and wraps around the center, which is the flat roof, beyond the gym, starting at A-1, and wraps around to the A-2. You can follow that right around the white space in the middle.
The swimming pool, you mean, Bob?
Yes, sir.
We're gonna make you go swimming that this summer.
Well, I think we should start a school swim team.
Oh, there you go. Is that one below the E, is that part of it, Bob? It's not marked?
No, it's just the
That's just
the
not
A
marked,
section.
okay. So it's 4 sections,
Yeah.
or 4 individual little,
Right.
okay.
And not knowing where we would land for bid prices, I had broken it into 2 pieces. So I had the A-1 as being the primary concern, followed with A-2, but A-2 was quoted as long as it was done with the original section, you know, the original A-1.
So,
We have, in the capital budget, we have 37,000 now, and then July 1, we would have an additional 37,000 added to the roof capital reserve.
Bob, on the front side of it, with the A-2, is that going beyond the skylights?
Yep, it's coming all the way back, right.
It's gonna go beyond the skylights on that side?
Yeah.
On this front side over here, where the skylights are?
Yeah, it's coming from that corner there, it's coming back at us here and ending up top, right above here.
But
That's for the A2.
when we were up there, you were saying that it would probably end at the skylights?
Oh, that was A-1. Yep, where that dotted line is?
Isn't that well, yeah, but right at that dotted line, it says A-2, that's what,
Right, so when we were up top, because it's deoriented this way,
right, yeah.
so we were right there saying A-1 quote would end there, and then the rest is the A-2, which brings us right above, where
Right.
we are.
Right, so it's now going beyond the skylight to cover this
Yep.
whole section?
Right, the total cost does that, right, cover that total section.
Do you know anything about these bidders, Bob?
We worked at the SAU level with both Brad Jones and Mills Construction. So we have worked with both of them before.
Who besides Mills, Bob? Sorry?
I'm sorry, Mills?
Mills
Yeah,
and who else?
Construction, yeah. It's,
Yeah,
Jones?
and Jones is the other one. And Mills Construction is one of Fred Meyer's companies.
Mm-hmm.
Has anyone ever looked at the swimming pool? No, I mean,
Probably the,
I mean, we've already spent, what, $70,000 on a new liner for the swimming pool? And now we're going to spend another $50,000? Just as a swimming pool is a hole in the ground that you sink money, a swimming pool in the middle of your roof is a hole in your roof that the taxpayers will forever sink money.
well, you
It's
figure
not a good idea to have a swimming pool in the middle of your roof.
15 years is what that membrane lasted, so it was replaced last year. So 15 years, right? So you can't complain about that. And,
But, you know,
It would have lasted longer too if it had been maintained properly.
that would have helped.
It was not maintained properly.
okay, but having a snow blower running across your $70,000 liner, that's not prudent. It's not good for a roof. They have to send people up there, whenever there's what, like a foot of snow.
So if we put a pitched roof on it, then we deal with 4 valleys, right?
That'd be higher than a second story for sure, too, to try and bridge the whole thing.
But I mean, I would think that it would be prudent to say, have an architect look at it and see if there's a better way to do it. I mean, had I had known back then what I know now about the swimming pool, I would have, before you spent that $70,000, I would have said, maybe we ought to have an architect look at this.
An architect designed it.
Well, that architect should be tarred and feathered. Okay, along with probably whoever was on the board at that time that voted to accept that.
Uh-oh.
You're
I mean-
looking at her, Steve.
That's you? What were you thinking of? How is it a good idea to have 4 sides of your roof running towards the center?
Okay, wait.
Because
Let
we
her
didn't
answer.
want the 4 valleys if we put a roof on top of it. You'd have, if you put a roof on top of that, you'd have all 4 of those roofs coming in, and you'd have 4 pitches like this. You'd have 4 valleys all the way around it.
You
And it was designed with the drains coming down through so that there's not supposed to be water up there. What happened was someone plugged the drains. It wasn't maintained properly.
But you still have 2 feet of water up there.
Because it wasn't maintained properly because someone plugged the drains with cans.
Well, I'm just telling you what Joe told me, that pipe, that amazing,
I didn't know about the pipe going through the,
I mean, isn't that an amazing feature?
I didn't know about that.
I mean.
It's an overflow, right?
And, yeah, but Joe says on
It's
a
an
number of
overflow.
occasions in the year, that pipe is flowing like a river. So from that pipe to the bottom of the swimming pool is 2 feet. So you have 2 feet of water up there.
When you
I
were up
did
there,
not know
this has
that.
been the rainy season, was there any water in the swimming pool?
No, because it was 80 degrees when I was up there.
But it was probably flowing, the water was probably flowing through the channels it was supposed to flow through.
Well, I'm thinking that where Joe's around, he's probably taking care of it, but he's telling me that on a number of occasions throughout the year, that pipe, 4-inch pipe that goes right through the one side of the roof out to the other, that is flowing like a river. And when that pipe is flowing like a river, you have 2 feet of water on top of that roof.
Excuse me, Bob, have you ever seen 2 feet of water on top of the roof?
It comes out that drain when we get the torrential downpour like in the summer times.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's going down the scuppers as well, but that's the overflow.
Is it staying up there, sitting up there?
It just can't go down the scuppers fast enough, or in the columns out here in the activity center.
Is there ever standing water?
No, not standing water.
So it's never sitting there like a swimming pool. It's like an empty swimming pool, see?
That would be trouble.
Well, no, when that pipe is flowing, there's because from where that pipe is to the bottom of the swimming pool is like here, and then the pipe is here. It's 2 feet from the bottom up to that pipe. So when that pipe is flowing, you have 2 feet of water
Of
on
moving
your
water,
roof.
okay. All right, I get you. You have 2 feet of moving water because the drains can't go fast enough. So when the water starts leveling off, it doesn't sit there, it eventually drains out. So it's not like we have standing water.
Well, I didn't say standing, but 2 feet of water on your roof. That's not a good idea.
Well, I assume
I
it's
don't know.
structurally sound. I don't know.
The
I'm not
thing
a-
is, it's like, if you were going to design all of the space, you wouldn't have done it this way. But the thing is, it's kind of like the house that Jack built. You added on, added on, added on, added on.
It was actually not in the original design, and the architect suggested closing it in because of the distance the kids were going to have to walk from
From
the
one
8th
side to
grade.
the-
They would have had to walk
Yeah.
all the way around to get to the cafeteria.
Yeah. So now, I mean,
So
you
they
have the
designed
design
it as
that
an
you
afterthought.
have.
But it was an architect that designed it,
Right.
and the drains were supposed to work.
Yeah. And it did last 15 years. But really what you're trying to do is the roof that goes around
Right.
that section.
Which is still part of that section. This empties into the swimming pool.
Correct.
But the roof needs to be re-shingled, right?
Right.
I mean, that's what we're talking about, is that right?
But I'm just saying, would it be worth having someone look at it? Because then you have the facts to base a decision on. Because you're gonna have to keep replacing the liner in the swimming pool. At least that way you know. Somebody could come in and say, it would cost you X amount of dollars to get rid of the swimming pool in the middle of your roof. Then at least you have something to base it on. Then you can say, well, it's either too expensive or what, then we have to live with a swimming pool.
What did they give you for a warranty on the new rubber roof?
I'd have to backtrack at that, but basically, our issue there is because, as we were discussing here, we end up shoveling the roof off and have people on it, and, the thing that's gonna end up damaging the roof, because it hasn't leaked since then, is not likely to be material failure, it'd be human issue with somebody damaging something.
Because you get people digging shovels into it, trying to get the snow off it. That's not good for a roofing system. Shovels and snow blowers going across your new $70,000 liner.
It gets, the way we do it, it gets pushed with, pusher shovels, 2 snow blowers. The snow blowers are sitting on a platform that we put up there to protect the roof, and then we have to blow it up and over to get it over that, like F to A1, over that
So it's not actually touching
bathroom.
the shingles.
We're not snow blowing the
That's-
roof. The
that's good
roof
to hear.
gets shoveled off.
That's good to hear.
I just think it'd be smart to at least know what you're dealing with.
Well, you know,
Would it be worse? Because that's just a hole in the roof that the taxpayers will forever keep dumping money.
well, if it's gonna last 15 years, what does shingles last 15 years? So, you know, 6 of one, half a dozen the other?
I don't think that thing's gonna last 15 years.
It did this time?
Even Joe says in the winter, he has to go up there all the time because all those little drains, so they're freezing up. So you have that problem too.
Maybe we need somebody to look at the drains, to make sure they do drain.
I think you should have someone look at your swimming pool in the middle of your roof. At least that way you have an idea.
Okay, who would we have look at it? You have an idea?
An architect?
You just did that, though. I mean, we just did
I know, well,
that.
if I had known then, like I said, if I had known then what I know now, I would have probably been pushing to have this done before the 70s. But, I don't know.
Well, right now we have a leak in the roof, and I think we need to get that taken care of. So let's go back to this.
Well, this is part of it.
Well, yeah, but let's just talk about.
Did an
getting
architect
somebody
look
to
at the roof when they did this? Who did this, the drawings?
This is a roof, a company that does roof inspections.
Do we have our roof inspected? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean,
This
yeah, we
company
have
does
it.
roof.
That's where this document came from.
Okay.
Plus Joe and I do it several times a year. Every time the wind blows.
Maybe we could get some information on the membranes and. Maybe we could call Chip and see what he has to say, Judy. I don't know. I don't know enough about it. Bounce.
Is that the architect?
Well, I'm just saying, at least you would know one way or the other, whether it's worth trying to get rid of it, because you're just gonna keep sinking money into it.
But I could see where they say, where they're talking about the eaves, and when you have eave like that, isn't there more chance of leaks? So,
Yeah,
this may be something we have to live with, but maybe we should, see what we can find out.
Yeah, because you're gonna have 4 valleys, right? If you put a roof over that?
I mean, unless you put a dome over the whole darn thing, which is like way over the top, as Gail said, it's, just something that grew over time with different decisions. That
Right, it's not
Yeah.
something
Created
that
this-
originally.
I mean, it's been 4
Created
editions,
this
or an
legacy.
original and 3
Yeah.
editions, so.
even if we were trying to, another option is delete that section if you wanted to take away. Well, we couldn't do that because we'd have to somehow deal with all of the water that goes in there better than, what the scuppers can actually move today. You would need a bigger drainage system under there. I mean, you'd be tunneling under the science, coming in from the science side, with a digger and getting more drainage underneath there if you opened it back up.
Well, I think we have
So
to
to
do
go up
something
higher
about
with a roof, boy, it'd be right up here, you'd have a ton of wasted space too.
But I think we do have to do something tonight about the,
We'd be over the
Leak.
height limit for Wakefield too.
huh?
We'd be over the height limit. Isn't
Oh,
there,
yeah.
I think there's a height limit. Zoning.
As tall as the townhouse, right? Town building?
33?
33.
Is it?
Okay, anybody got any questions on the,
So what are we
Bidders?
going to do? Are we gonna make a motion for one of these?
I think
or-
we have to.
Is there a
Fix that.
recommendation?
Do you have a recommendation, Bob?
Looking at certainly how the bids turned out, there, Mills Construction, having the experience with them, we do a good job for sure.
Good, because they're local.
And it's local, so we better off.
Somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to go with Mills Construction.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
What are you doing? Are you doing part of it, all of it? What are you?
All of it, the
All of it, the
45,
45.
620.
A1 and A2.
Nay.
Okay, that's 4 ayes and a nay. Got anything else for us, Bob?
Nope, we'll be back in the 6th, remember? So, we'll be looking at financing for the renovation project. And
Right.
if there's any other questions, just get them to Andrew and myself.
Okay. Sounds
So
good.
we're doing all the financials for
Yeah, on the 6th.
26.
The financing for the renovation, Bob?
Yes.
To make sure we have the surplus. Andrew's
Oh,
supposed to
It's
give
coming out,
us the
right.
current
Yes,
numbers.
For the surplus, okay, yeah.
Yeah, we have the contractors lined up, so
Right.
if we get the green light that night, then we can follow
It's by the
Thursday,
11th.
Friday, that week of contracts.
That's
Okay.
still by the 11th, right, Bob?
Joe and I start on the 11th.
On the 11th,
Yeah.
right, okay.
We'll know where we are on the 6th.
Okay.
Okay, special ed report. Scott?
Thanks, Bob.
All right, thank you.
Any questions from the board?
Have you and Andrew got your budget section pretty much straightened out now, Scott?
We're getting there. I know we did some moving around last week, and I just need to wait for final bills to come in and double check things, and I think it went up in your last expense report, is that correct? Or will in your next one? One or the other.
Are there any difference in the numbers here? I mean, I didn't check it.
You've had some activity. You've had some shifting placements.
From one place to another, but still.
From one place to another, or one place to a shelter, and then to another, and then to another, which has required a fair amount of traveling. You've had some move-ins. You've got some move-ins coming over the summer that we already know about, and I've already gotten the paperwork on, which is a good thing. That helps.
Paperwork is a good thing, I don't have to move it.
Yeah, well, it's always nice to know what people's needs are before they show up. So, I think it's pretty, it goes up and down depending.
Does anybody have any questions on Scott's report?
No, we're all set and secure in the ESY, so.
Yeah, and what they're going to do is, halfway down the primary hallway where the doors are, that's where they're going to seal. And then we'll be able to use the end of the building for ESY other ways with storage and moving the office and everything else will be
Okay.
So,
Awesome.
we figured that out.
Okay, thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Principal's report. Doug?
Yep.
Are you giving us a report?
Well, I can. You've just kind of filling in. I'm sure you've probably had a better chance to look at this than I had. I scrapped it off Trish's counter this afternoon. So I don't know if you have any questions. I would do my best. I guess the one really nice thing worth definitely kind of reporting out loud for the mics and cameras is the staff news that Mrs. Courts had her baby. And I'm sure that's supposed to say everyone is doing fine. It says everyone is doing.
We're going to assume it's fine.
But it's a little girl, Emily, and everyone is doing fine. You can add that word to the sentence. Other than that, as I said, I don't know if you had any questions, and I do my best to help you out. But I've just picked this up myself this afternoon.
Would you like to read the names of the student of the month? And why don't you just attach them to the names? That sheet. Rather than having to. I'll see that Kathy gets this. Okay. Could you read the students of the month, please?
Sure. Yep. And then did you say something about attaching it to?
No, I was talking to Deb. She said, do I have to write all the names down? I'll see
I
that
got you.
Kathy gets
Okay,
this, if
yep.
she could attach it to the
Okay. So April students of the month, beginning in kindergarten, Logan Taylor, Gavin Peasley, and Samantha Gowen. I hope I got that one okay. First graders, Dakota Dahan, Alana DeAngelis, and Abigail Caswell. Second graders, Nicholas Haskell, Marissa McLeod, and Jimmy Taylor.